you for inviting us to your school. Someone in your school, perhaps even your teacher, believes in a bright future for you. Part of your future will be your positive choices toward your education, career choices, and self-development. My name is Janet Chang, and this is the first interview of a series of health professionals. The series will include medical physicians, nurses working in a wide range of settings, speech and language, occupational, respiratory, and physical therapists, and other representatives of health professions. Each interview will reflect the health professional's journey towards their career choice, current experience, and what they want to share with you about their profession. Our first interview in the series is Dr. Tony Mose. Dr. Mose attended Stanford University as an undergraduate, University of Pittsburgh Medical School, and the Family Practice specialty at O'Connor Family Practice Residency Program. Currently, Dr. Mose is the medical director of the Student Health Services Program at San Jose City College. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Tony Mose. Welcome, Dr. Mose. May we start with when you were in the 5th grade. Did you have dreams of becoming a physician? But first, please share a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me, Janet. And thank you also for inviting me into your classroom to just talk a little bit about how I came to be where I am right now. I want to start a little bit with where I came from and my background and kind of my journey that led me into family practice. I'm an immigrant to the United States from Trinidad and Tobago, which is a country in the Caribbean. And one thing that I remember very vividly is how important education was to my family. My father went through many years of school, including graduate school, and my mother was a midwife and now an ER nurse. And so I knew it was very important for them as well as for myself to focus on education. So that is exactly what I did. I've lived in many different countries, and I think because of that, I've never thought of myself as a minority per se. Race and ethnicity didn't really come to be an issue for me until later in life. Having lived in those countries, one thing I did learn as well, which is very beneficial, especially now and here in California, is to speak a little Spanish. So, puedo hablar un poquito de español, suficiente para comunicar con mis pacientes, and that has helped me. I've learned enough Spanish to communicate with patients who speak Spanish. And as I said, I never really thought of my race and ethnicity, so I never felt held back and constrained in what I could do. So I thought I could do everything. When I was about 12, one thing I remember vividly, and this is what I think really got me interested in medicine, my sister and I would look through my mother's nursing textbooks. And I had a really hard time at that time with looking at the pictures of skin diseases and anything to do with blood. So one thing my sister used to do to tease me and to really get to me was to open the textbook to a particularly gruesome picture in order to, send me off scurrying away. And I vowed then that one day those pictures would not bother me. And I think that's what initially got me interested in pursuing a career in medicine. When I first started along the journey to become a doctor, I had wanted to be a pediatrician. I have a real love for children and thought I wanted to work with them, or I knew I wanted to work with them. And it was only until residency when I realized that not only did I want to work with those children, but I also wanted to take care of their family members, whether it be their parents, grandparents, their siblings. I also wanted to deliver babies. And I don't do that anymore. I primarily take care of the college-age student, which I find fascinating and really enjoy. But that is the pathway that led me to where I am today. So I got here because I had a lot of support. Not only my family, but friends and friends of my family, but counselors, especially in high school. I did run into people who did say that I couldn't do it and that I should set my goals on something that was more attainable for me. And that made me realize that I needed to do what I wanted to do, whether they believed in me or not. And so that's exactly what I did. And I ended up at Stanford University because of my father's best friend who came to visit right around the time I was applying to colleges. and I had never heard of Stanford. You know, I was on the East Coast of New Jersey at that time and knew nothing about West Coast schools, and neither did my counselors in high school. And he said, you know what, I think you should just apply, and, you know, California is beautiful, give it a try. And I sure did, and that's where I ended up. So I'm happy he came to visit when he did. Now, there were times that I did doubt myself. There were times I didn't know if I could do it. But I decided that I wanted to pursue what I wanted to pursue. And as a friend of mine says, the only time you fail is when you fail to try. So I decided that this is what I was going to make happen for me. One thing that I would definitely do differently if I had to do it over again would be to get more guidance, not only from counselors, but to ask people who had been through it how best to do it. I didn't grow up most of my life in the American school system, so I didn't really know how to become a doctor. So I think I had a lot of trial and error in figuring things out. So one thing I would recommend, once you know what you want to do in your life, make sure to find people who can help you get there, to talk to figure out what you need to do do it successfully. The last thing I wanted to say is, you know, that I feel like I learned a lot along the way. One was not to doubt myself and to trust in my abilities. I had some hardships at Stanford, especially with organic chemistry, where I felt like I couldn't go on, I would never make it through. And, you know, I realized that the only way I really could get to where I wanted to go, meaning to apply, to get the prerequisites for medical school, was to believe in myself. And I think everyone really should be confident in their abilities, and you can always get the help. And ask for that help. Whether it's offered or not, you should always feel free to do so. And the last point I wanted to say is it's okay to change your mind. Just because you start off in one pathway in life doesn't mean you have to keep going along that same path. It's always okay to try something new, and that's what life is all about. So again, thank you so much. I look forward to hopefully meeting or talking with some of you in the future if you're interested in medicine. And please know that I am available to answer questions. So thanks again.
Thank you.